Like 10 years back, India was considered that maybe like lot of BPOs can start here. Then, started thinking about like not only BPOs, but some other captive processes can also be transferred into the country like India. So we got a lot of KPOs then. And today is the time, there are no boundaries of anything that industry or any country is thinking of starting in India. They have a very good comfort to start in India. So a lot of hard work is done by government and later a lot of representatives of the public to make it happen. Our job as a citizen is to identify those opportunities and work accordingly. In our presentation, I just wanted to give some understanding of what this industry offers in general to the clients, because we are B2B, and I was talking to Yardine on that. So in general, like when it comes to B2B, people don't know what we do. Like banks, you can go and understand like what bank does exactly, or maybe insurance companies. When it comes to ours, hardly very few people who has known to the industry would understand like there is a career opportunity here. When it comes to MBA finance, when I was in finance, I was a finance student long back in 15 years ago. The first and foremost question coming like, where is our market? Where can we get absorbed? Where can we get the job? And thought is like, I want to be a finance manager. Practically, that particular profile has gone out of market. Nobody employs finance manager. So we have to identify the sector like mutual fund industries or financial services industry or banking industry, insurance industry. These are all retail industries where you have a direct interaction or a visibility of the opportunities. Ours is a kind of industry where the opportunities are not directly visible, but then when person gets it and person feels like there is a utilization of the skills that I have used so far, I have acquired so far. So I will give you a glimpse of that industry. It's little hard to explain that in 30 minutes, but we'll try our level best. You can ask us question anytime in between, or we'll have a probably half an hour question answer session after the presentation. Okay? So we are good to start. Can we go to the next slide, please? So when it comes to S&P Global, S&P is 125-year-old group and stands for Standard & Poor's. I am sure like every finance student knows the full form of S&P. When I was in MBA, my dream was to work for this company at least for analyst, because the amount of knowledge that you gain out of it, like the whole structure of investment works and how it works, you can easily understand. Godfather of finance industry or investments, Warren Buffett, uses this data on a daily basis to identify the opportunities that he wants to invest for multiplying his money or wealth. So when it comes to S&P Global, this was the company named as McGraw-Hill Financial till 2015. We changed the name of the company considering the primary market that we serve, and that is finance industry, that is investment industry. So now the company name is S&P Global Incorporation, listed in New York Stock Exchange with a trading symbol of SPGI. We basically have total 4 divisions: S&P Rating, which is 125 years old legacy, a very big name in the credit rating market. S&P Global Market Intelligence, which is a data factory for us, where we are manufacturing all the data which goes to the different platforms of our product. S&P Dow Jones Indices, which is where we calculate more than 117 Sensex of the world stock markets. BSE Sensex is calculated by us. And S&P Platts. This is a flagship product of and the company of ours, which is about 100 plus years in the operation, purely with the energy and metals and mining research and fundamental advisory. So we do provide that kind of advisory to several Gulf countries clients, where they take our estimates and accordingly crude prices or metal prices are fluctuating. So, and all these businesses are more or less monopoly businesses. So when it comes to competition, the entry barrier is very, very difficult. It cannot be started next day by any of the company, because the legacy database that the company has is more than 50 years. A brief of it started from 1888 till date. There are many acquisitions. All the acquisition which was done is the clear thought that the company should be very sound in general. Going to the next slide. This is a little bit about like what each division does. So you must have heard about rating, which is credit rating business, specifically not credit rating of any debt instrument or the companies, but beyond it, we do the country rating as well. We do the economy rating. So there are rating indices for everything that interprets like how in general a specific object is doing, whether it is about the company instrument or it is about in general company or economy or industry. And that is basically used generically by a lot of investors. Market intelligence, I told, like all the data that is there in our company goes to the product, are manufactured in our factory. That is a market intelligence. Dow Jones and Platts, we already covered. So can we go to the next slide, please? So when it comes to like what this industry offers, and this is now more important slides for you, like how all the efforts converts into the dollar. Because everything what we receive from clients is either in dollar or euros. There are two currency that we take the check. Now, in that particular case, if you ask me like what you do, I would only say like we only process the public information. It means it is publicly available. Then why would somebody give us the money for that? You go to Google and search for a specific document, you will get it. So there is no need that you have to go to S&P Global to get that data, like get that document. Document is available, so source is available, but then why people gives us the data? What we do in our factory that it makes our products smart products. That's what we're gonna understand here. So can we go to the next slide, please? So yeah, before that I just wanted to give you a glimpse that in this industry, if you want to stand, you need to make sure that you have these 4 pillars in our control: accuracy, timeliness, comprehensiveness or completeness, and relevance. Anything you give, say like there is a newspaper, you get this in the evening, is it useful? Especially in the investment market, the news should reach before the news is out in the market. Then and then you can realize the opportunities. Same goes for quality. You tell somebody that I'm going to give you the research report, it has only 5 errors, but I'm going to give you just in 5 rupees. Would anybody buy it? Because whatever people are going to use after that is basically for millions of dollars of decisions. So you need to make sure that there is no scope of making any error. And that's the reason our data comes with the guarantee that anyone find out a single error in our products, they are eligible for $50 per error. And that is taken. Everybody who is calling gets that. And that is a big portion of our spend in the company. We want to make sure that our quality remains on the top in comparison of our competitors. So that's about the 4 core tenets that is required to be into this business. And this is why every company, certainly data guarantee is something only S&P Global does, but beyond it, every company who wants to be in this market has to be 100% qualitative. Otherwise, people will not buy the product. Next slide, please. So when it comes to the financial information value chain, it basically starts from the raw data and raw news. So like say there is a press release out in the market that X company is acquiring X company in this much of price. That's the first trigger for us to start capturing the data. And when we start capturing the data, it can be merger and acquisition, it can be the general financial information, it can be changed into the board of the company, anything and everything. And every data is important. So when it basically comes to this industry, every company, whether we talk about Thomson Reuters, Bloomberg, FactSet, us, every other company has to make sure that they go by every single document which is out in public. Now, how to get that is very important. So there are thousands of business processes which are watching on the web, and on the point when this is released, there are instruments and the tools which basically put that into the workflow so that you can check it and appropriately update your database. That's the process every company has. When you do that, it covers basically press releases, conference calls, like quarterly and annual conference call, research reports, SEC, which is Security and Exchange Commission in United States. Similarly, there are agencies in UK, there are agencies all around the world. In India, it is SEBI. Regulatory documents. Coincidentally, there are some countries where the regulation is done by the state governments as well as municipalities as well. And every company has to file the reports. So all those documents are our raw material from where we get the data, we start processing the data. The next level is enhancing the information. So next slide, please. Where we basically standardize, aggregate, and create the ratio dissection for many of the useful information. Like company, or generally the regulatory boards say like the company has to publish 5 ratios. So they would basically publish 5 ratios and put some footnotes saying that this ratio calculation is based on this formula. There are many formula available in the industry. But then our job is to disseminate it and give the right picture. If somebody is looking forward for, say, liquidity of the company, what are the parameters to put that into liquidity? If somebody is looking forward for, like, say, what's the debt capability of a company, then we put accordingly. So our enhanced ratio are more than hundreds, which basically are created through the same data point, but give a clear-cut track, like whether the company is pretty good in the pretty good business with a pretty good sales volume, but somehow they are having the liquidity crunch because their ratios are not supportive. So all that is actually interpreted by the products, where they can see where is the slack, where is the green zone, what are the results that the company is struggling with, and all that. Filtering, putting the commentary on it. So whenever people actually want to deep dive into it, they can understand that the reason for, say, a Q2 growth slowdown is that the company did not renew X order. Now, public limited company has to put all this out into their quarterly reports on a regular basis because that is owned by public. So all the auditors has to make sure that all those key events are captured accordingly. So that's where we basically do the information enhancement, going word by word and line by line to all the text in the document. Next is analytics and automation. Can we go to the next slide, please? Where we basically, now from here, the products start getting prepared. So you have covered the data, you have disseminated it. Now different platform will pick that up and start showing into the ready-made product. Where you have a news feed, which is like a quick news, secondary news to a lot of people. So top people in the industry will just go through our releases and say, like, these are the top 50 events when I was sleeping on the bed today. That's what exactly we wanted. Similarly, like there are feeds and Excel templates through which a lot of researchers are actually interpreting the news. And same goes for, like, a lot of company keeps their portfolio, like, say, private equity firm. They have 50 companies on the search to make sure, like, which one to acquire. They basically put the comparative analysis for them for like couple of quarter basis, and then they take a call, like, these are 5 good companies that we should think of. Rather, so all those detailed research can be driven through our tools directly. And this is available in the industry for all. Like when we go to Google and we basically start looking for, we get a lot of comparison and lot of analysis, but that is publicly available. Something which you really need for investments is hardcore, detail oriented, where you have to buy the product like, ours as well as FactSet and Thomson Reuters and all. The end user, when it comes to can go to the next slide, please. Where it is basically like about fundamental analysis, portfolio analysis, research, equity, credit research, strategic planning, institutional investments, all these are the purpose. So anyone who is looking around this need that data, and that data actually translate everything in terms of investment opportunities. Whether it is buy, whether it is sell. A lot of people say, like, buy is easy, sell is very difficult. Sell can only be done with the data of such kind. It can, like, lot of stock market lovers, you can buy the stock, search Google and you will get the 5 great script for today and you can buy it. I can guarantee it, you will at least make profit in 4. But where is the exit? Will you be able to exit if the share prices is going up? Probably not. Then you realize that maybe I have exited too early. So what is the right moment? There is no right moment. But then your data has to prove it. It's not sentimental. It's more data driven, and that has to be proven. That's where the data analysis are important. Go to the next slide, please. So when it comes to the different product platforms, next slide, please. This data is available through web, where you can just go to the web, export lot of information to MS Office tools like Excel, PowerPoint, from which lot of people make the presentation and give it to their investment board. Next one. They are called desktop solutions. Then office tools. So purely like if somebody is looking for, like, there is an Excel template that I have created, and every day morning when I hit the run button, it should basically update the whole template. That can be available on every company's platform. So people are using this at majority, most of the time. And the reason is, you open any annual report, how many years data you get? Max 5 years. 5 years is the max in the summary page, and maximum 3 years in the balance sheet, not beyond it. This product offers more than 25 years comparison on the spot. So that gives you, and maybe like you want maybe 100 quarters, you can do that. You select the period, so you can know like how the company has performed since inception or since last 20 years. That gives you a clear understanding whether there is a comfort to invest in this company, or there is a zigzag line in terms of share prices or profitability, which is very important to understand. The other one which is very important as well as very high in demand now is the feed business. Now what is feed? So feed is basically something where you have the data into your servers. It goes directly to the servers of the other company. So they basically buy your raw information, and then they have their own research product. And this is mainly used by the PE firms or advisory firms, because they actually don't want to publish like from where they got this information. And that is pretty clear because they are accountable for their clients' performance. PE firm, what they do, they take money from you, me, and everyone, and then they take the right call with the clear discrimination that they're gonna invest with X amount of period. And then whatever the appreciation is basically the profit shared by them as well as the party. That's how that particular model works. In that particular case, this information is very important. So feed business is taken by a lot of mutual funds as well as advisory firms who has to keep eyes on the performance of thousands of scripts. So there we are into the secondary market. It's a growing market. Lot of companies like Thomson Reuters last year stopped collecting on all the conference calls, and they started buying it from us because they were spending more than like $300 million in just collecting that. Thought like, why can't we basically give $400 million to S&P Global and start doing that from them only. So there is a partnership expansion that we did, where all the conference call that we cover is also shared with Thomson Reuters. So this is kind of product platforms that are available in the market.